When Don Reynolds opened this high school in 1981, I wrote a 3-part series on it because Don had big ideas and he wanted to be a sports powerhouse and of course an academic powerhouse. And he took us, we were out in the woods and he says, you know, this is going to be here, this is going to be there, you know, and it was hard to imagine that at that time. But you see it today.
He had been thinking about, if I had the opportunity to be a principal of a new school, you know, what would I do? He had been thinking about that for years. And so to get to actually have this dream come into fruition for a new school, for him was just phenomenal.
When they appointed me, I was principal Seminole, and I came here and it was a new beginning and a new school. And nothing had been done, so we had an open road there to be what we could be, okay? And I always built on the fact that we want to be as good as we could be, and the best is what we were. And when we were first visited by Southern Association of the Colleges and Secondary Schools, the man that had been in charge of that for the state of Florida that came down and did our study said it was the best high school he'd ever been in. So that confirmed that we had gotten a good start at that time.
It started with Don Reynolds, for sure. I saw a picture in the trophy case just a minute ago, and he's holding all the trophies that we were winning at that time. But it was more than just athletics. It was he set the tone with great academics and the community. It was all about the community at that time. And we were a new school. Only had freshmen and sophomore students at that time, and athletically we were playing with the big boys, but not faring too well. But he was the brick to this day. It was the brick. Don Reynolds was the brick, and he expected us to be the mortar. And we just had great community. It's just been that way the whole time. Lake Mary's just still a special place because of that, and I just truly believe that.
We tried to get as many kids involved, because the more kids you get involved, the more school spirit you have. A kid going to school and not involved in anything is not going to add a whole lot to the spirit of the school. So that's how we started out, really wanting to. And it was nice too, because we started out with just the first 2 grades, 9th and 10th. And this allowed us, all of them were really involved. Of course, we played a football schedule with a lot of varsity teams, only with 9th and 10th, and we got killed quite often, but we still were there. But time we were seniors, though, they knew we were around. I tried to attend everything as much as possible. Football games, basketball games, soccer matches, swimming matches, golf matches, because kids want to see the principal there. Kids want to know that somebody else knows that they're doing a good job. In addition to that, I would go by and call kids out of class and that had, been performing in football or something tonight and brag on them a little bit outside the classroom. But it was always kind of fun for me. I'd go to the classroom and I'd say, Miss So-and-so, could I see such and such in the hall, please? And the whole class would just quieten down, and it would scare the kid that I was calling out. And then I'd call him out and I'd say, I just want to tell you how proud I was of you, how you performed in track or swimming or whatever. And a lot of times I did it to the kids that didn't come in first, the ones that come in second and third and fourth. And they're out there every day practicing, sweating, doing everything else, and don't get the glory. So I tried to make them feel better. And I would write a lot of letters too to kids, thanking them for their contributions to the school. That's how I tried to that's what I did to develop school spirit. I had a coach named Harry Nelson, and Harry had coached at Bishop Moore. They called him Harry the Hornet. And so I hired him to come in here because he was a winner. He could take a bunch of middle-class kids and develop them into a team and get more out of them than anybody I'd ever seen. I'd played him many times at Seminole and other schools, and he had beat me when I had a lot better talent than he did. So we played Lake City in football, and this is an event I'll never forget. And we held them inside the 10-yard line for 4 downs, really around the 2-yard line, and they didn't score, and we beat them by 1 point. And I get back on the bus, and this coach, who is a man's man, okay, was sitting on the back of the bus crying. He gave everything he had, and that's what we were. It really got to me seeing him sitting on the back crying. He was crying because those kids gave everything they had. You know, I don't think much has changed. I think the kids still are great involved. We came, last week, a week before last, to a game, and the student section was as good or better than I've ever seen them. They're cheering and chanting and carrying the whole game, and I was real proud of them. And it looked good to me. I was real proud that my daughter was involved in it.
He's funny because, first of all, when I told him he was going to be inducted into the first Hall of Fame, he got a little choked up. I'm not going to lie. You know, that's such an honor for him, especially the inaugural Hall of Fame. That was his first reaction. And then his second reaction was, well, who else is being inducted? And he started listing off, so-and-so better be inducted, and so-and-so better be inducted. And so he immediately, you know, he got kind of choked up, and then immediately turned it to all of the great people he has worked with. He wanted to make sure we're getting inducted alongside him.
It honors me that she accepted the same profession that I spent my life in. And of course, she grew up going to Seminole football games and then Lake Mary football games, and she grew up here. And I'm real proud of her. I think being an educator is one of the best jobs in the world. You're never bored. There's always excitement. Great things are going on. And you always have a chance to help somebody better themselves or advance them in some manner. So I'm real proud of her. We started out really wanting to be the best, and I think we got there before we were through. We really had a good school.